here. Tom and Eric still bringing you all the Pioneer action, including a repeat person in the feature match area with Frenchie and the Rakdos Demons deck, but this time going up against Kevin Duda and the deck that he has called Svelte Red.
Camera is back on now, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like our players are looking to see whether or not they want to keep their 7s. Let's see what we got, because both Duda and Frenchie have been on stream before. Duda before coming out with stuff like Torbrand, we were debating whether or not there was like Embercleave in the deck. Lots of more mono red mid range or mono red prison style cards coming out of that list. Bone Crusher Giant, of course. While Frenchie has already been on stream today, so I'm sure all of you are very familiar with what they are packing there.
We got Unstoppable Slashers, Blodletter of Aclazotz, Unholy Annex, sort of the holy trinity of standard Pioneer black decks at this moment. Whereas Duda's deck, the Svelte version of the red deck, I believe that the Torbrand stuff has kind of been cut. If he's playing the same version that he was playing a few weeks ago at Pioneer, this version of the Svelte red deck is a little bit more aggressive, but does still go up the curve to about 3 and 4 mana. I think there may only be like 1 or 2 Torbrands in there, but you're also packing things like Bomat Courier to give you extra card advantage while you're swinging in and being a little reckless with your attacks and everything. And as you can see right here, there's already a couple of extra removal spells. Looks like an Inti and a Rabbit Battery in Duda's hand.
Ooh, I think we're gonna see their battery. Yep.
Yeah,
all right.
This was definitely not in Bloomborough.
This card, I'm so happy is here. At one point, I was trying to run a Boros equipment deck, and this was the probably the best card I had in the deck, unfortunately.
Oh man, you know what rabbits do?
No.
They multiply.
Ooh.
There's another rabbit battery.
This is it. Let's go. Oh, tapped Spikefield has. Oh no, Fatal Push from the first battery.
Oh man.
It's okay. It's okay. There's still the batteries here. Duda, I don't know if has a third land drop right now.
Duda does have Inti in hand, so we could Inti and then flip over with a discard and hit our third land drop, which is as lucky as I get. But Frenchie, again, now with this Rakdos Demons deck, as they throw down a FOMO here on turn 2, this is going to be more, again, of what we saw against like the Selecting Angels list last round, which is basically, at this point in time, Frenchie just needs to play removal go as long as Duda's only playing one thing per turn.
Yeah. Frenchie's kind of able to sit back here. Oh, nice little tracker for us for Delirium. Thank you.
Bless up.
Ooh. Bone Crusher Giant, but also Torch the Tower in hand as well. Duda's pretty well positioned to kind of react to anything that Frenchie's throwing down here. Unfortunately, no third land. Oh, although a Smuggler's Copter.
So we have Smuggler's Copter, Inti. We have multiple ways to try to find our third land, but we're only going to be able to do one of those right now.
Is it FOMO?
I think there is a FOMO in Duda's deck as well, but Smuggler's Copter hits the battlefield, and we're just going to wind up passing the turn since we cannot attack that Rabbit Battery into the FOMO very successfully.
I think Duda has a regular FOMO in hand. I saw the like wisp of smoke from the mouth.
So we could just wind up having FOMO v FOMO battles coming on here.
Ooh, Slasher coming through.
There it is.
Still no
Skyfall was going
drop.
too slow for me. Oh, no land drop for Duda is pretty big. But okay, so we have Inti. We have Smuggler's Copter. We're going to get looks at 2 cards from the top of our library here.
Ooh.
We got attacks.
Trigger Inti.
We get a counter. So we have 4 Smuggler's Copters, which is pretty solid.
I know that's a regular sized dice, but from here that looks like the smallest dice in the world.
All right. Discards a Torch Tower, flips over an Inti. That is not going to be a land. So now we get Smuggler's Copter trigger, draw.
Discard.
There's a land.
Good for Duda here. Discarding another copter.
That should trigger our Inti again, unless Duda doesn't remember the trigger.
Inti trigger. There we go. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, those are redundant Inti's not that bad, but flipping over a Fable the Mirror Breaker with only 1 available mana is not the greatest, but hitting your opponent for 4 in the air with a Smuggler's Copter, hey, that's not bad.
Yeah, definitely feels a little bit bad to hit the Fable there, but, you know, just filtering in your land drop, being able to probably double spell next turn does feel pretty good. But let's see what Frenchie's got. Frenchie did hit their third land drop, so The deck pretty much functions on 3, 4, and 5 mana, so getting to 3 is kind of the prerequisite to get going here.
And also it looks like that most importantly, Frenchie has availability of black and red mana and a Mutavault. So we have one of the best demons in the deck here, Mutavault. We do see Unstoppable Slasher turning sideways, and the Rabbit Battery leaps into blocking there. Does not want to get their life total down, but yeah, that's a second Unstoppable Slasher. No land 4 for Frenchie, however.
Yeah, both sides missing land drops, so we are even right now. That looks like double FOMO in hand for Duda. 2 slashers is pretty scary here because 2 triggers of slasher will more than likely take Duda down to maybe 4 life. There is the FOMO. Oh, Duda apparently has 3 types in the yard right now. Partially thanks for Rabbit Battery. Currently has 2 types.
All right, and so yeah, FOMO of his own here from Duda. So, I mean, we saw an instant. We saw the Rabbit Battery as creature artifact. I don't think there was a sorcery, so we might not quite have Delirium, but we also don't have haste on our FOMO, so that doesn't quite matter yet.
Yeah. Let's see. No Inti trigger, discarding another FOMO. That is 4, but still no haste on the FOMO, unfortunately.
We do find land number 4 most importantly, but we are just going to pass the turn here. We can't really crew our Smuggler's Copter and keep our blockers available. Both these players at 2 and 0 currently here on Super Pioneer. The winner of this round will advance to 3 and 0, and most likely will be drawing into top 4 if they want to secure the extra prize that we have here at Super Pioneer Tuesdays, but could potentially wind up playing if they so choose to want to get first overall and get the most out of their prize pool.
Definitely, and I mean, it is just locals after all, despite the slightly larger prize pool available. So I think people are inclined to play. They come out here to have fun, jam some magic, you know, talk with friends, talk shit, whatever.
Yep. Well, we got a Shieldred Edict, so maybe talking, getting hit by a Shieldred Edict. But most importantly, Frenchie did wind up playing Castle Lochthwain for the turn, but because there is no swamp on Frenchie's side of the battlefield, that came into play tapped, so Frenchie's not going to have access to that pivotal 4 mana, as you mentioned, Eric, and not going to be able to start slinging demons.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious why. I guess Duda wasn't planning on blocking with the copter, because in response to the edict, he could have crewed. Oh, Duda coming out and killing one of the slashers with blocking and hitting it with Bone Crusher Giant.
All right, so Duda going all the way down to 9 off of this 1 Unstoppable Slasher connecting, and as you mentioned, putting some stun counters on that one by putting the Bone Crusher Giant stomp effect out into the battlefield. And now Duda, is that only 1 card left in hand after all those draw discard shenanigans? So...
Yeah, ultimately Duda went card negative for a lot of stuff. Oh, Bone Crusher Giant coming out as a big old blocker.
All right, so we got the 4/3. Are we going to see it crew?
Oh, he did crew. He's attacking. I think Duda did not have anything in hand. Oh, discarding for Fiery Temper. Okay, that's sick.
That's pretty solid here. This is some good synergy coming out here. Madness on Fiery Temper.
This is a card I haven't seen since the early days of Pioneer. This used to be the premier Phoenix deck for a little bit because there wasn't a lot of good 1-mana removal. So being able to pitch it off of, you know, Lightning Axe or Charter Course at that time was kind of insane.
Yeah, so there we go. Just Lightning Bolt. There you go. It's already in Pioneer. You don't need it in Foundation. Stop asking.
Yeah.
But still 4 damage coming across from the Smuggler's Copter. Duda does have that 1 card still in hand. And now 2 Unstoppable Slashers are tapped down. And even though we don't have any demons, Frenchie's going to start trying to accrue some card advantage with this Unholy Annex coming down.
What are you talking about? Mutavault, the best demon in the world. So Mutavault activation will be draining Duda here, since 1 colorless mana does absolutely nothing else in the deck.
All right.
Might as well get some extra value out of it.
So there we go. Mutavault turns on the drain synergy here. Frenchie's going to be able to draw a card. Now turn passes back to Duda. 2 cards in hand. One of them is a Fable, the Mirror Breaker. And that's going to be pretty solid because that could crew this Smuggler's Copter here as well.
This is really sick because that does allow Duda to get in for an 8 damage turn. FOMO most likely chump blocking here because both slashers are still going to be unavailable for 1 more turn. Blocking the Bone Crusher Giant, so taking 4. Duda did pitch one of the lands. Oh, there's a Mutavault in hand. Okay, so that does allow him to very likely overwhelm Frenchie next turn.
So we know that Frenchie has the availability of Unholy Annex. Ooh, Archfiend of the Dross is a big old stone wall here.
Yeah, Archfiend does mean that you can't very easily just throw stuff in because you're just gonna lose life for it.
Not only that, but it's the biggest thing on the battlefield. It's a 6/6, and we got 4/4, 4/3, and a 2/2.
Yeah, it's even bigger than Copter, unfortunately. Duda thinking about whether or not to discard for Chapter 2 of Fable.
Ooh, okay. And this is going at the Archfiend of the Draw. So this is presenting the fact that if I crew the Smuggler's Copter, if you block, it will die. Or if I do another Fiery Temper.
2, let's go.
Oh, temper. All right, but now Duda has to be a little bit concerned. If you swing out like this...
I mean, the slashers will untap next turn, but...
I mean, it's a swing down. It's Frenchie all the way down to 2.
Wait, actually, yeah, Duda overcommitted, I think.
No, he just needed one jump blocker left back, and I think he thought he could activate the Mutavault, but then realized he didn't have the mana.
Yeah, I think he was hoping for, honestly, just anything there.
Wait,
but...
did he have a treasure token, though?
Instead of trying to get the arch.
Wait, yeah, he did.
Did he tap the
No,
Mutavault?
he crewed the copter.
Oh,
That's
he crewed the copter instead of attacking with the goblin. Oh man, so Duda comes out, rips double Fiery Temper, and is able to kill the Archfiend of the Dross, and then gets a little too aggressive with, I guess that's what the red deck wants to do, though. And Frenchie, with
Yeah.
those double slashers untapping, is able to steal game 1.
Because I think looking at the life totals, it was 10-5 there. Duda having copter being able to soar through without being blocked, at least for one more turn, I think is pretty important. The other thing is maybe there wasn't an argument to aim both Fiery Tempers at the Archfiend. Maybe they could have just gone face instead. Because then Archfiend can only block one thing. He had 2 4-power attackers on the board. Frenchie was at 10. 2 Tempers brings him down to 4, right?
That would be 6 damage right there, and that would potentially be an out there where Duda just wins the game off of that. But I guess that does require the knowledge of, okay, because we saw the first Fiery Temper being drawn, being pitched off of the Fabled Mirror Breaker, targeting the Archfiend to go for that line of combat of, all right, crew the copter, swinging with my Bone Crusher Giant, and then that'll be my way of getting rid of the Archfiend of the Dross, with the no knowledge of the second Fiery Temper, and the third one of the game, by the way, being on the top of the library. It's a really hard line to decide if you're going face or trying to get rid of the face-up threat on the table. So Duda going for the face-up threat on the table, and then if you just crew the copter with the token or the Mutavault and swing, you get 4 damage in there. Frenchie goes down to, at that point, you get 4 less damage from that attack. So Frenchie goes down to 6. And then if you untap, block the slashers, Frenchie has to commit with both of them to try to threaten lethal. If not, you have a flyer on the battlefield.
Yeah, I guess my question for how Duda handled that previous interaction is, when you discard a card off of Fable the Mirror Breaker, do you get to finish drawing your card before having to deal with the trigger from Madness?
No. So I think what you do is you discard, the Madness trigger happens.
Well, because technically it's
drawing
one
and
trigger
discarding.
off of Fable, right? You have to resolve the whole thing before.
So Duda would have known if there was a second Fiery Temper. So yeah, that may have just been a little overzealous of playing the Fiery Temper with the discard and then looking at the top card rather than doing the whole motion or whatever. But that's still a really tough choice to have to make in the heat of the moment like that.
Oh, definitely. Because I think if Duda had information about what the drawn card is before having to make a target for Fiery Temper, then definitely there are different options open. But without the extra knowledge, I do think targeting the Archfiend is the correct choice, because that does force Frenchie to have to block something there, I believe.
And with both of those unstoppable slashers dying the same turn, coming off of stun the same turn there too, having no counters on them, and then Frenchie untapping, being able to attack with both of them. Just one slasher connecting is fine for Duda, but both slashers connecting is what kills him that game.
Oh yeah, because being at 5, if you get hit with one slasher, you go to 3, and then half, you go to 1 actually. But 2 counters, two triggers does actually kill you there.
Yeah. So now we're going into game number 2. Duda on the play, probably going to be bringing in some things along the lines of like maybe if there are more torch to towers, is there an obliterating bolt or something like that in their sideboard? That would be something that Duda would be bringing in. And then Frenchie going up against the mono red deck, playing mostly creatures, even though we have a couple of fiery timbers. I'm assuming it's very similar to what we saw on the sideboard plan from Selesnya Coco. Maybe you keep the duresses in, but you bring in as much removal as possible.
Yeah, definitely. The hard part for Duda's deck is going to be trying to get enough damage to deal with these 6/6, because obviously it's not just Arcane of the Dross, it's also the 6/6 demons coming off of Ritual Chamber Unholy Annex. So having, you know, some sort of a plan to try and get up to 6 damage is, I think, crucial in this matchup.
Yeah, Witchstalker's Frenzy unfortunately only deals 5.
Yeah.
And that's one card that a lot of the red-based decks have been using, especially when you wind up flooding the board with at least 2 or 3 things and reducing that in mana cost. So you see a FOMO coming out here from Duda's side. This is going to give us a quick little discard and a draw, and then potentially crewing the Smuggler's Copy with Frenchie with an ominous 2 mana of it.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe it's an edict, but Frenchie's thinking real hard about this, because if you edict now,
it doesn't crew.
He doesn't crew in response. That's interesting, because actually Frenchie's
Oh, okay, it was after the draw discard, so this is, I guess, moving to crew. Maybe? I don't know.
Because FOMO would have been tapped.
Yeah,
FOMO should have been tapped if it was moving to crew. But I don't know. Our players probably know much better than us.
I'm just going to switch the sides of the FOMO here. Frenchie playing a FOMO of their own, discarding a Blodletter of Aclazotz, very powerful card in this matchup, but then passes the turn after playing a Mutavault of their own. So both players looking very similar in what they are trying to do this game, although we do know that there are black cards in one deck and not in the other one. Oh, baby, this is a turn your head sideways. What is this?
What the?
Draws us a card.
What is that?
Before attacks.
All right, we got a Fatal Push for the Smuggler's Copter. I know what that card is, but I don't necessarily know what that other card that Duda played is.
I'm just gonna do it.
I feel a little bad because I feel like I should be the one of most, but others should know what the random cards are playing here.
I am completely stumped as well, to be perfectly honest. It's a creature. Oh god, what is that thing?
You know, there's one way to find out.
Also, if you can tell him to reset the life pad, that would be great as well. But Tom is going out there to be our live on-the-ground reporter of the match scene, trying to figure out what that unknown card is.
I mean, that just tells you no one's taking damage.
But I mean, yeah, I really don't know what that. Do we have an answer, live reporter Tom?
That's funny.
Oh, we do.
Also,
and
turn 4 for the person on the
this
That's actually kind of.
is a hell of a card. I remember playing this card in Standard. Duda has a madness theme going on in this Svelte red deck. What you know about Stromkirk Occultist, Eric?
Oh my god, I've never even played with this card before. Talk
This
about
card
a blast
is
from the
great.
past.
Madness is out for 2, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you just get to exile the top card of your library, and you can play it till end of turn. So this, in combination with Inti, in combination with Smuggler's Copter, in combination with all of the sorts of impulsy effects from Duda's deck, does work. Most importantly, it has trample. You start putting Inti counters on it, it starts doing a lot of damage.
Oh, land number 5 here for Duda. Looks like Frenchie has a FOMO as well as a Blodletter of Aclazotz. Tapped out, so Duda's not afraid of anything coming back, but he's not able to attack through the Blodletter, unfortunately.
All right, well, Kempsey in chat knew exactly what that card was, so Kempsey is probably my age or a little bit older if they remember playing with this card in Standard. Oh, this is like Eldritch Moon era, so I say like old card, but this is like 2016 Standard era, and this is... I love seeing these cards that Duda is packing in this Svelte red. Svelte is a very good word to describe this one, as we see modern era magic, Fable the Mirror Breaker coming down here for Frenchie, going to create a Goblin Shaman token, and then we have the Blodletter of Aclazotz to hit the battlefield, so basically an Unholy Annex or Unstoppable Slasher short of exactly what the Demons deck wants to do.
Yeah, pretty much. Blodletter cracking in for 4 in the air here.
First blood!
First blood going to Frenchie. Oh, Soken's on channel, getting the 2 spirits. There's a good chance we don't have the spirits.
They are 1/1 colorless spirits that gain haste until end of turn. But most importantly, Duda does make his own tokens, though.
That is true.
Duda's got pretty tokens that we can pull out of Duda's box, so going to be channeling that, discarding the card. Unfortunately, no Inti on the battlefield to get a Inti trigger off of that one, but a lot of lands in hand,
grip full
unfortunately.
of lands. Duda definitely looking to connect here. FOMO does have
Delirium?
Delirium, I believe.
Alright, so we could have FOMO Delirium, the Stromkirk Occultist Tramples. We could maybe bait Frenchie into having to double block or putting enough threats on the battlefield here with this mutable activation to try to get them to potentially let a damage trample over so we could find some action. And yeah, everything's turning sideways here.
Yeah, untapping the Stormkirk. So Frenchie does probably have to trade here. FOMO for the Occultist.
We're still going to get no damage trampling over because of the 2-3 from FOMO, but we are going to trade away Mutavault. So boom, there we go. We wind up having a Stone Rain effect coming down.
Den of the
damage
Bugbear.
comes across. Yeah, Den of the Bugbear and pass for Duda. So we do have Ramen Up Ruins, Den of the Bugbear. Our lands do things, but do they do more than Fable the Mirror Breaker, Blodletter of Aclazotz?
Yeah. Oh, Frenchie declining to discard anything here makes me think the cards are either
It's too good.
Unholy Annex or another Fable.
Hand is far too good. and
There's
yeah,
one other Fable.
Fable and Unstoppable Slasher. Alrighty then.
Wow. This is what you love to see in the deck.
And this is going to get to the point where we start doing silly Fable the Mirror Breaker things, isn't it, Eric?
Yeah, definitely. Fable is honestly such a strong support piece for the entire deck. Obviously, you have, the Slasher Bloodletter combo. You're like, yeah, connect, kill your opponent. Great. What they don't normally talk about is that one Reflection of Kiki can make copies of Unstoppable Slasher. So, instead of one Unstoppable Slasher, maybe you'll have 5 Unstoppable Slashers. And that is, as they say, unstoppable.
It definitely is.
The other thing that is really sick about the deck is you could just make more copies of Blodletter of Aclazotz. All of a sudden, your 2 in the air becomes 16 in the air, just casually. And I think I hope Duda is able to draw something because Frenchie's board is looking very out of hand. No cards in hand though.
That's true.
So there's
Until we draw and then get a Fable 2 trigger and then maybe discard, draw a card, and we're off to the races.
for sure. Because Frenchie's board is looking extremely strong right now. Next turn, flip 1 Fable, and then the turn after, start being able to make copies of Fables, and then just, make the copies of your best card on the board and swing in for $1 billion.
All right, Den of the Bugbear is getting in the red zone here. Most importantly, it's going to wind up creating a Goblin token, and we'll have to see. Is this going to be enough for Duda here? As we get a couple of chump blocks here. We get the quick little assignments here from the Unstoppable Slasher that will stay alive, and the Goblin Shaman token is going to jump in front of the actual Den of the Bugbear. Oh, is this, what is it, Avacyn's Judgment? Is that the name of the card?
I have nothing. I wish I knew, but
I think it's Avacyn's Judgment. It's spelled Judgment incorrectly, but here we go. Yeah, Avacyn's Judgment. All right, we're just playing like Eldritch Moon block constructed now. Most importantly, it's going to do 2 damage divided amongst targets you choose. There's no madness cost that was paid. However, it would deal X damage instead if you were to like split that up among the madness cost. So once again, going at that madness theme, but it is just going to make sure that Slasher stays tapped at this point, most importantly, so now Duda does not die to the Slasher Bloodletter combo.
But who cares? There's another Slasher.
Just when you stop one, you think you're going to be fine, but I guess it's called Unstoppable
Duda,
for a reason.
As you can tell, Duda looked at the camera and gave us a roll.
Right. All right, we still have these spirit tokens. We're going to trade off for a Mutavault here, but that's going to be Blodletter of Aclazotz getting in for 4 total damage after that multiplication happens. All right, Duda, what's on the top of the deck? Fiery Temper. Oh, no, that's a rabbit battery, unfortunately. That's going to be Frenchie taking game number 2. So Frenchie is going to advance to 3-0 here at Super Pioneer Tuesday. We caught it on the big camera this time. Frenchie celebrating right there. But Frenchie is going to be advancing to 3-0 at Super Pioneer Tuesday.